same time, I don't expect my Prime Minister or my Cabinet Minister or my Governor General to be travelling down the back in 36B, because we believe that the nation, the state, and I think David made that very point, or I think Sir Roden Cutler made the point, the Governor is the host of the state. That Governor is the official face of this state when people of significance and standing from around the world come here. And we want to say, well, listen, we've got a lovely place, we've got a lovely house here, where we can entertain you. I mean, that dining room at Government House is a beautiful dining room, unused. The gardens are magnificent gardens in which you can make a statement to our visitors here when they welcome guests. You can make, this is Australia, this is New South Wales. There's the harbour, this is what we've got. And you're advertising, you're using this glorious place, which is not far up from Farm Cove, and you say this is where the colony began. Not over in Neutral Bay, this is where, that's Farm Cove. And see that street that we've just driven you up Macquarie Street, the first street in the nation. And that's why there are symbolic instruments of those early beginnings. When we look at the Mint and we look at the Colonial Secretary's office, and we can tell people they were the first buildings in the colony. And this is where the sheep and cattle roam. They built the house here for that purpose. Later on, we turned it into a garden, we moved stuff out to Parramatta. But there's a whole history involved here. This is the emblem of this state. It's the symbol of the nation's beginning. And here we are desecrating it for some stupid ideological obsession. And that's all it was, an ideological obsession. And to have Bob Carr, who's too smart, he's smarter than all of that, making these statements to justify what he's about, and if they were punished, so be it. Rodney Cavalier's right. When he saw the opposition, when there's 20,000 march in the streets and 70 appear at a sausage sizzle at Bondi Junction, it's proof positive of the tremendous support that exists for the monarchy in this country and for those who represent the monarchy. People appreciate the dignity of office, the dignity in office with which these people have conducted themselves. Roden Cutler, of course, appointed over and over again. And that marvellous man David Martin, who died of mesothelioma, and Gordon Samuels, and there have been so many of them here who've added to the image of the place, and yet to put them into the suburbs and become now dismantled of office and dismantled of status and dismantled of prestige, because Bob Carr thinks that these people have got a whole lot of people running around them, they're deluded by the support that they get simply because of John Kerr or somebody else. It defies any kind of rational explanation or rational justification for where we are. Now, David, having presented that case, and given that the media won't be here to represent that case more widely, the absence of the ABC, of course, who are meant to represent a very determined and significant public view, but they don't, this then will get no more coverage than we're getting here. But what we have to do is to try, and many of you people here have got children and grandchildren, you sit them down, it doesn't matter how little you remember of the presentation, but just sit them down and explain to them. This is what we have to do. We've got to be a bit evangelical, a bit Fred Nile about this. And, you know, we sit people down and we say, now look, there's been a lot of controversy about the governor. Let me tell you who the governor is. Let me tell you what the governor does. It's not a matter of whether it's a man or a woman. There are certain standard sophistications which relate to the office, and let me explain that to you. This is the house, and that's where the colony began, and this is the first street, and that's why the house was built for the governor. The governor's the face of the state, and we think the governor should be there. And you educate them to understand all of this. Ignorance is part of the problem.